I got suspicious that my wife cheated on me, so I started snooping for her. My jaw dropped to the floor when I found out who was her affair partner. My wife and I have been married for 13 years. We were a loving couple and haven't had any major problems in our relationship over that time. She had some complications with her uterus early in our relationship, so we decided to not have children. I have an elder brother who has a daughter. Because I didn't have children, I loved her like she was my child. My niece and I have a great relationship, better than the one she has with her parents. She shares a lot more about her life with me and my wife than she does with my brother. I paid for her schooling in a private school and had a very active role in her life. My wife was always very supportive of this. My niece got accepted into college in my city, so I asked her to live with my wife and me instead of staying in a dorm. I'm paying her college fees too. She has been living with us for over 3 years, and we've had a great home. As part of my job, I have to visit job sites all over the country, and I'm not home for a week almost every month. Last week, I had to go on such a trip. I managed to finish the job in 4 days and decided to surprise my wife and niece. I bought some dresses as a gift and came back 2 days early without telling them. When I went into our house, I found my wife and niece having sex in our bed. I did not understand what was happening for a few moments. When it sunk in, I fell to my knees sobbing. I'm feeling devastated. The two people I loved most in the world were deceiving me. I feel like my world is ending. I locked myself in the guest room after that happened. They told me that it was happening for a few months. My wife told me that she hasn't cheated before, and I want to believe her. I love them so much and I can't get myself to be angry at them. This happened yesterday and I haven't spoken to them since. They keep apologizing and crying, begging me to forgive them. I cried myself to sleep yesterday. I still don't know what to think. I'm feeling betrayed and haven't even been able to function properly. I don't know how to proceed. I have nothing to live for if not for my wife and niece. Should I tell my brother? What should I do with my wife? How do I move forward from this? I am truly lost. I took my wife's phone and found there thousands of messages with different guys. I went through them and went pale what I saw there. Sigh, here we go. Good day or evening, folks of Reddit. Apologies in advance for the long post, this is actually the short version. Background: my wife, 29F, and I, 29M, have been together for 11 years and married for 3. We grew up in the same town and first met in elementary school. We became best friends in high school, strictly platonic, and went to different universities 2 hours apart. Freshman year of college, we were surprised at how much we kept in contact. Long story short, we began dating that same year. The relationship started off very strong like most do. The distance was tough, but we would make it a point to spend nearly every weekend and holiday together. Things seemed amazing. Now looking back, I am realizing all of the red flags throughout these 11 years. She is a go-getter. I am laid back and tend to go with the flow. She has a short temper. I like to think of myself as very calm and collected. We shared the same values and dreamed about life after school. Post-undergrad, I took a full-time traveling job in order to gain some unique experience and make the most money, double the starting pay for my degree, while she entered a doctoral program. The distance continued and we were seeing each other even less than before. Financially, I was able to cover both of our living, and we were able to afford trips on her holiday breaks. It was tough, but I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Once she graduated, I could take a position in a city we chose, making less money since we would then have combined incomes. She did not like this plan. She demanded that I move home with her because the distance was too tough, and she wanted a real relationship. I obliged and took a 50% pay cut to work in the town she was attending school at. It was tough. 3 months later, she is accepted into a different program in another state. I panicked and was so frustrated that I had quit my high-paying job to be thrown into a new job that I will not have to quit and start somewhere else. Luckily for me, I had good rapport with my previous company, and we both agreed it would be best for me to travel again until she finishes the program of 2.5 years. I actually received a significant pay increase from when I left, so things seemed to be working out. Not long after this, we got married. A beautiful dream wedding. I was able to afford all of the things she wanted due to my traveling job. She then started a business shortly after while she was still in school, and it began to take off. I was given an ultimatum: quit my job again or divorce. She couldn't take the distance anymore. Again, I obliged and was fortunate my company let me take a part-time remote position, so I still had benefits for the both of us. I moved back, helped with her business, doing the more mundane tasks, and was working part-time waiting for her to finish school. She ended up withdrawing from the program to focus on her business, and we moved back to our hometown. We were now both making money. Things seemed nice. We bought newer cars, bought an expensive home with room for future children, a house I was not comfortable with buying due to price, and how early we were in our careers. I fought against it and wanted to wait another year, and was told I was dumb if I waited since we had the cash, so I gave in, got 2 dogs. I only wanted the one, but she had to have another, kept growing the business. She began to resent my help with the business. She was always full steam ahead. I was always asking her to slow down. Reason being, certain things take time and don't happen overnight. Examples: finding an office space, moving, hiring help, figuring out good business attorneys, good CPAs, etc. Within 1 year of moving back, we moved out of our spare bedroom and into an office space, hired an attorney, found a CPA, started payroll, moved the LLC from another state. But at the end of the day, I was constantly told, you are holding me back, you are too slow, you aren't business-minded, you do the work that anyone else could do, hire people to do what you do. I worked hard, still maintaining a part-time position with my old company. Staying up late processing orders for our business. I was always discredited for my actions. Always told I was not doing enough. I began to wear down physically and emotionally. She only wanted to focus on her business 24/7. We lost emotional connection. She wouldn't even walk the dogs with me anymore because she was working. I still did what I needed to do, but would not do any extra. I became slightly depressed. I began to resent her for always putting me down. I began to distance myself. Play more video games, play more sports, go to the gym more, be at the office more, away from her. Over the past 3 months we became very distant, and any conversation would trigger a fight, generally related to business. She began spending more time in our bedroom on her phone in the evenings. I thought nothing of it, as social media is the main source of advertisement for our business. It got to the point where I had enough and set up marriage counseling. We went to one session, and it seemed good. That evening, the slap in the face occurred. She informed me that she is in love with a man she met on social media 2 months ago. I was shocked. Couldn't believe it. How could she do this to me? Hide this from me? I probably shouldn't have, but I forgave her and told her that I was sorry for not being there emotionally for her, and that we can continue counseling and work things out. That weekend was an emotional roller coaster. We were very intimate. Things seemed to be looking up. I was thinking maybe this is a good thing. A wake-up call for us both. A reignition to our relationship. That following week I had some sort of intuition that things were not adding up. I asked to see her phone, and if she was still talking to the man. She said yes and showed me the messages. Hundreds and hundreds of messages a day. She confirmed they never met, and I could gather that from the messages. I gave her the ultimatum. Stop messaging him and tell him you are going to work on the relationship. She did that. This lasted 12 hours and she couldn't help herself. She started messaging him again, and I knew this was a bigger problem than I had ever imagined. She then told me with a stone-cold face that she wants a separation. That I would never be able to make her feel the way this person, whom she has never met or spoken to on the phone with, confirmed this through messages, does, and that she has finally found her true self. I was devastated. I did everything I possibly could. Kept telling her to continue counseling with me, basically begging. She agreed to this and asked me to sleep in the guest bed. Every day and night she was on her phone giggling at her new boyfriend's messages in our house. I finally couldn't take it anymore. I told her to either stop or get a divorce. She chose divorce. She told me that the only reason she was just going to continue counseling for me because she was afraid if she left immediately, I would go end myself. She told me my personality sucks. That I am not intellectual enough for her. And that all of the recent intimacy was her thinking about this other guy, not me. Just like that. Straight-faced. I felt betrayed, worthless, gross even. I tried to remain living in the same house, but could not take living with a ghost giggling all day and night to another man. I have now filed for divorce and am living at one of my parents'. She did say she wanted to remain friends, but how could I? She had the gall to tell me I could continue to be part of the business through separation if I could handle it. But if another man comes into her life and isn't comfortable with me working alongside her, then we would have to reassess at some point. So it begins the process of splitting up the successful life we built together. We were on our way to be very well off. I am devastated, but trying to focus on myself. I am aware of my mistakes in the relationship and am addressing them one by one. The last argument we had as I was leaving, she told me I am unhealthy and need help. I told her she needs to get help also. She fired back and said I am fine. This is the true me. Hurts like hell. I miss the life I thought I had. Major red flags. 1. She would break things in fights and blame me for being the trigger in her doing so. 2. I was insecure for not wanting her to go on a mini vacation with another man. 3. Early on in relationship she broke up with me for 1 week and kissed another man, then we got back together. I swept it under the rug. 4. She always got her way, where we lived, how we lived, where we traveled, what we bought. 5. She did not do little kind gestures for years. I would always come home with her favorite drink or snack. Do things for her birthday or holidays. Did not receive any favors in return. 6. She began posting on social media like crazy. Seeking validation of things through internet friends. Consumed with her phone every waking hour. 7. Made fun of me during fights. My voice, my body type, too muscular WTF, my goals or lack thereof, my interest, how I dressed, how I am slower than her, not as intellectual. 8. I never did enough for our business, and was always holding her back. 9. If I tried talking to her when she was on her phone or computer, she would ignore me and say she is working or that she doesn't have the energy. 10. Even on dog walks she would take her phone, because she had to tend to direct messages from business. Those are just some of the many. Stay strong everyone, and don't let someone walk all over you like I did. Know your self-worth and always step back and look at things from a third-person perspective, though it can be tough at times. Thanks for taking the time to read. My fiancée thought deleting messages would stop me, but I exposed all her crazy affairs, and now she's crying. My, male, 26, GF, female, 22, and I had some problems in the last weeks. First of all, my ex cheated on me several times, and after her I tried to find a new relationship, but I realized that I've had trust issues. That's why I stopped looking for a relationship till I met my GF. We met 4 years ago in university, and I was always interested in her. But I thought she had a relationship and always tried to keep distance between. Then she made the first steps last year on a date, which I thought was just a meeting between two friends. We wrote for some months, and I must say I was kinda blind and dumb to not notice her flirty texts. Well, now we have been in a relationship for 1.5 years, and I must say I never trusted someone like her. She really knows everything about me, and I know everything about her. Last year was a really bad year for her because her ex misused her sexually and mentally. I was there for her though the whole time, and this deepened our bond. Now we notice the slightest change in the mood of each other, and if our significant other is lying or not. And we were going to marry next year. It's something that I couldn't have imagined 2 years ago. But there is something which keeps bugging me, and I need your opinion about it. And I'm still going to marry her, but maybe some people here know this feeling and can give me some advice. So in July we had a big dispute, which was my fault because I was fighting with some traumas from my past, and I didn't want to burden my GF with it. But this way of thinking made it worse, and it exploded in a bug argument. After that, she truly knew everything about me. But then the problem started. She didn't want to burden me and started to talk less about her problems. Then at the end of July she fell asleep and had a wet dream about another guy and kept saying his name. I talked to her about this and she told me he was the guy before me. But that it was just a dream and that she is sorry. I believed her, but it still was a crappy feeling. Then I overheard a conversation between her and best friend, which I shouldn't have heard. They thought I was on the toilet but didn't notice I already came out and went into the kitchen. My GF told her about that dream, and that she was feeling bad that she couldn't stop thinking about him. Her friend told her that it is normal to fantasize as long as you don't do it. Then my GF asked her if it is flirting if she chats with him, and her friend told her not to do it. Then they talked about me and how she is happier with me, and her friend told her that she shouldn't do it. My GF told her then that she would break up with me before cheating on me, as she knows that this would break my heart, but this won't be the case. I felt bad because I heard their conversation, but I didn't want to talk about it. Some weeks later we talked about some things and talked about her wet dream. Then I asked her if she still had his number. Well, she still had it. I asked her if she could delete it, and she did it without hesitation. But it still hurt me that she had the number, because in the beginning of our relationship she told me that we should delete all the numbers and contacts of past relationships, and I did it. She told me that she forgot his number, but I don't know if it really hurt. Then she had a student job for 5 days in a new place. There she met a guy who knew her misuse ex and some women that he hurt. She talked about that with him and exchanged numbers with him and another co-worker. I don't have problems with exchanging numbers with new people. My GF is an extrovert while I'm an extroverted introvert. Well, now here starts the problem, because I don't know if the following is emotional cheating or not. She had some tough weeks and her mental health was not in the best shape. Because of our big argument in July, she didn't talk to me about everything because I was recovering and starting to feel well again. There was one evening where we watched a movie. I kept noticing that she was receiving messages. Normally she would open it in front of me, but she acted kinda suspicious. She read the messages and instantly turned her screen off. Then she went to the toilet and came back. This happened 2 or 3 times. Before the 3rd time I saw that the second co-worker called her Habibti, something like my babe, and the first guy wrote something about being a dream man. She went to the toilet and came back. We wanted to watch another movie, but her WhatsApp web was opened. In this moment the second co-worker sent her a kiss emoji, and the other guy asked her to trust him more. I was confused and asked her who they were. We had a big argument and she told me to read the chats. I didn't want it, but she still opened them and showed me the last messages. And then I noticed she deleted some messages from the second co-worker. Especially the one where he wrote Habibit or Sweetie. I confronted her and told her that I saw what he wrote her some minutes ago. Then she showed me the chats of both of the guys. She started to talk more about her ex with the guy who knows him. Then she started to talk more about her daily problems and feelings, but just like she would with a friend. But then the guy, he is in a relationship, started to ask weird questions. He asked her if he is a dream man, and then especially if he is a dream man for her. And my GF had a little accident, and he kept on insisting that he can drive her around, and that she should open up to him as he wants to be someone she can lean on to. She said that it's hard to open up to other people, but she will try because she thinks that he would be a good friend. And the other co-worker, 19, kept texting and called her Habibti or Sweetie. And now here is what keeps bugging me. She deleted the messages from him. She told me that she knew I wouldn't like if he writes her something like that, and didn't deny that it was a huge mistake to delete the messages. He is really young and tries to flirt with her. But she told me that she likes him as a friend, and I believe her. And her messages were always distant and friendly. But I can't understand why she doesn't set boundaries. She is a really strong person, and if someone calls her names like that except for me, should shut them down. But she just deleted the messages and said he is like an immature child. Well, he isn't the one I'm worried about, but it kept bugging me. I hate the thought that she was emotionally so intimate with the first guy. She told him things she didn't talk about with me. And then she told me sometimes it's easier to talk with strangers about things than with the ones she is close with. That's something I can understand if she would have talked with me later about these things. But she didn't, and this guy tried to approach her in a way that he shouldn't if he is in a relationship. After we talked, she wrote to him that we had an argument because of him and the way he chats with her. He said he can totally understand it, so he admitted it and apologized. He wrote that he will stop texting her, and in the same sentence he wrote he can't help himself. When he texts her, he forgets everything around him. WTF. He didn't even hide his intentions, and she told me she is no child and knows when someone is interested in her. But if I wouldn't have seen the messages, she never questioned his behavior. And I think here you should set boundaries. She never flirted with him, but she didn't stop him either. And my GF loves attention, she admits it, so I think she likes this kind of attention. She told me it's hard for her to act like a person who is in a relationship, as she doesn't want to be treated differently by others. Maybe the ladies here can share their opinion about this one. I told her that if others know she is in a relationship, only the ones who are interested in her will treat her differently, as they won't flirt with her. And I know there are still people who will do it, or are excited about it. This conversation helped us, and we both felt better after it. So after we talked, our bond even got deeper. But some days ago the first guy wrote to her again, and I don't know what, but I saw she answered and deleted the messages. She opened her messages next to me and his chat was suddenly from 2 days ago. We had a conversation about it some hours before that. That we will not hide something from each other, and that she will not delete messages anymore. I don't read her chats, but if you delete something it means you hide something from each other, or am I wrong here? And I told her that if I ever think she cheats emotionally on me, I will instantly leave her, as I don't want to experience this feeling again. Physical cheating is something that will end our relationship too, but that's something we both know. So now she is on vacation with her family. That's why I didn't address it. I know that she deleted some messages again, because I didn't want to have an argument before her vacation. I don't know, but I feel emotionally betrayed even though we talked about it, and at the same time I know she would break up with me before she would cheat. But I think my trust issues and experiences make me overthink, and I don't know how to handle this situation. After our conversation my mind was at peace, but then I saw she deleted something again. I only know he wrote understood. Maybe she told him that he shouldn't contact her anymore, but why would she delete it? I know I will marry this woman, but I'm afraid to be hurt by her, as she is the only person who can really hurt me like this. Her best friends and her sister always tell me how she keeps talking only about me when they are outside, to the point that they are annoyed. But they never saw her happy like that and know that she loves me. And I know it too, and now I feel guilty, because I'm afraid to get hurt, because I know it wouldn't be her intention. But I don't know if this is a reason to feel emotionally betrayed, or if I'm being manipulated by myself through my trust issues and constant overthinking.